Blim, 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 blom.
And hello there, gaming fans. Welcome to my hideout. I am your host, the Horde. Back with another gameplay video for your entertainment today. Today we return to the crazy and disturbing world of AIdventure, hoping today to create a more detailed story with a more satisfactory ending and some excellent generated pictures from Starry AI and Desgo. Because if you're gonna tell a story, you need pictures. Just words is not enough. So in the first video, I started with a brief description of the game, and we dipped our toe into a not safe for work AI, which proved not safe for YouTube either. We scrapped that and we started again with Picard, who is safe for work, but is a bit of a weirdo, which is exactly what we were hoping for. So today, we go back to Picard in the hope he's going to create us a brand new, entertaining story to tell with fun, laughter, and horrors along the way. But not horny kind of horrors. Oh no, no, no. In addition to another video, what I also have, with many thanks once again to Liar Games, is a bit of a key giveaway. That's right, we have 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 keys to be giving away so that you can own your very own copy of AIdventure. But how do I get a key? I hear the voices cry. Well, that's simple. Pay attention, because there is going to be a test later. That's right. Following the video, I am going to post 3 questions in the comments related to what happens in the video, meaning that you have to pay attention and be the fastest person to reply if you want to get a key. And then you can go about creating your own weird and marvelous adventures. But for now, that's the introduction done, and we are heading off into the game. It's story time! So here we are. I've had a quick tinker with Picard settings, just choosing numbers at random, yeah? So the generation's max length now is 420 words. The randomness is 0.69. And there is a higher repetition penalty this time, so that we don't have someone shouting, no way, no way, no way, for half of the story. And with that set up and saved, we can head in. New story. And today what we're going to do is come up with our very own start, just so that the story can be a little bit more unique. So Wide, better get typing. Okay, we are ready. Let me set the scene. I am the Hood, a weird individual and a bit of a lone wolf, but not in that weird Sigma male way. I grew up on the streets, a gutter rat, learning from an early age that I would need to fend for myself. I became an expert thief by the age of 6 months, using my toothless grin as a lure for well-to-do ladies about to lean in and pinch my cheeks, while I rifled through their bags and pinched their cash, jewellery and gemstones. It's their fault for leaving those things there. They were basically begging me to pilfer them. Despite being a loner, I also had a trusty sidekick, only because I needed to be sure my story contained the foolish antics of a dim-witted slapstick character. My sidekick was called Ripper Fucknuts, and he was a hulk of a man, acting as my faithful protector, no matter how badly I treated him. It was a cool combination of names, because the name Ripper would inspire fear when people heard his name. But on the flip side, Fucknuts was the perfect name when he became an object of ridicule, which was often. Despite being a highly successful thief and making millions during my career as a roguey bastard, that's my character class, I was always short of cash due to my insatiable addiction to buying masks. I would sport a different mask every day, sometimes being a massive diva and going through multiple costume changes a day, just because I could. Last night, while getting shit-faced at Stinky's Fuckhole, the local dive bar, where people stick to the floor and the ale tastes like actual piss, mainly because it's 90% piss, I overheard something that got me excited, and I don't just mean semi-unexcited, I mean full-on rock cock of dynamite excited. One of the palace guards was running his mouth off, clearly having had too much to drink, as he was drowning his sorrows due to losing his job, which actually made him an ex-palace guard. In amongst the crying about how it wasn't fair that he should lose his job for committing an act of depravity with a mongoose and a bucket of eggs, he also let slip that it had been his job to tail Prince Honeybun when the prince would take secret walks into the town to visit his favourite kebab house, Kebabilon. The prince was famed for not only always carrying his adamantine short sword +7 of burning, freezing, crying and shit pantsing, but also the Hood of many faces, a legend legendary mask that could transform from one appearance to another, all via the power of the wearer's thought. A fine prize indeed, I thought. As a beautiful and intelligent man with a crippling mask addiction, this was the answer to all my problems. With the mask, my wealth could grow immeasurably, no longer needing to spunk my money up the wall constantly on new masks. The sword would probably come in handy too. I turned to Ripper and said, "This is the answer to all my prayers. I must have this mask. Despite you being an absolute douchebag numbskull, tell me, how best do you think we should go about stealing this from Prince Honeybun and getting away with it?" So the words are there, we just need a picture to go along with it. And over on Starry AI, we have got a beautiful and intelligent rogue who is wearing a strange mask, talking in whispers to an absolute unit of a man, both excitedly hatching a plan to steal from a prince. How the fuck does that look? Generate! Unfortunately, it's taking an awful long time today, so we're going to go back into the story while it paints this, validate what I have written, and insist that Picard continues the story with my prompting. Generate! No, wait. Yes, generate! So I've given it 90 seconds. I've given it a bit longer thinking time to make sure that it comes up with something spectacular, yeah? It needs to follow on from what I've written, and what I've written is fucking top notch. So just what the hell has he come up with? Let's have a look. He gave me a look like he couldn't possibly know what was coming next. So I added my 2 cents worth, and I told him to make an example of himself. What followed was a scene of debauchery. Why? Why debauchery? No, I need a plan. Complete with drunken dancing, strip teasing, ass licking, cunnilingus, and rough, slapsticky sex acts. Why? Why have you done that, Ripper? That is not what I wanted. Even though he was the sort of guy that wouldn't get laid unless there was alcohol involved. I mean, there is, we're in a pub. He definitely did it right up to the point where he came across some female flesh and started trying to get the kinks out of her to prove he was able to please women. Ripper's gone off on one. I'm going to need to rein him in. However, I didn't really want that to happen. Thank God for that, yeah? The hood is basically me. I mean, he's actually me, yeah? It's me. So I went over to her and told her to stop being such a fucking child and just come to bed with me. Right, I don't want to go to bed with anyone. I want a plan to steal the fucking mask. She looked at me like I had gone insane. I was pretty pissed, but she seemed to understand the situation and agreed to follow orders. We then proceeded to try to sleep together. What the fuck's gone wrong here? Why only try? But I soon realised that she was having trouble finding the right part of me to penetrate. Why am I getting penetrated? And why is Picard being not safe for work? Picard, pull your fucking self together. He's been hanging around with Horny far too much. Eventually, after giving her 3 or 4 very painful thrusts that ripped out bits of her skin, she fell asleep. Why wouldn't you after that? Still pissed off. Why am I pissed off? I went back to the room where the rest of the team, and there's only 2 of us, waited for our instructions to begin the robbery, and found that my sidekick had taken control of everything. Ripper had used his powers of deception to convince her to sleep with him, and she had in turn convinced many other girls to do likewise. Fucking Ripper's turned into a charmer. Don't they know that he's a slapstick character and the butt of every joke? They're not supposed to be sleeping with him. Then all hell broke loose. The boys of drinking and a lot of wild sweaty sex with multiple partners, preferably women, and my money won't be stolen. Who's saying that? All in the name of saving the kingdom. That's us. The first night, we began the operation in great style, as fucking hell. Where do I go from that? And what the hell picture is that going to create? Like, this one's still painting in progress. What the fuck? Because you're taking far too long, Starry AI. Is copy this and head over to Desgo. And today in Desgo, we are using the RPG 5 model. Run it! Hopefully we get a much faster result with this one, because I've got another one to create immediately, and I've fucking got no idea where to start with the scene that Picard has just created. Okay, right, it's not quite what I asked for, is it? But this is me, a beautiful, intelligent rogue. Which one should we pick? I mean, the bottom 3 are very feminine. I am not very feminine, yeah? This one with the horns. No, I've got a hood, you fucking fool. This one here, with the eyes and the hood. This is me. This first one, top left, that's me. I don't know where Ripper is in all of this. Don't suppose Starry AI's finished, has it? Has it fucking bollocks, mate? Starry AI cannot cope with that prompt. And now, I've got to do a second one. I'm going to see if Starry AI can handle 2 at once. So for the second one, we're going for a terrifyingly large man giving orders to a group of women when he should be making plans for a robbery, with a hooded thief looking on in disbelief, which rhymes and is awesome. Generate. Okay, we've got it. It's come up with a beautiful and intelligent rogue who's wearing a strange mask, talking in whispers to an absolute unit of a man, both excitedly hatching a plan to steal from a prince. This is me on the left. I'm looking super fucking cool. I love it. And Ripper looks a lot smaller and more athletic than I imagined he would. He's supposed to be pumping muscles out. Hang on, what other options have we got? I mean, in this one, he's a bit bigger, but he's still not very bulky. This one, I'm a female, and so am I in this one. Ripper looks fucking scary. I love the way that Ripper looks. So this is it. It's an incredible mask that we're both wearing. That's not a mask that Ripper's wearing. That's his face. Okay, close this one down, and we'll try and generate this one again. Okay, that's in a queue. We'll go to Desgo and create the same here. That's not what I was expecting, yeah? That's a bit weird. None of those people are terrifyingly large. I mean, there's one that's a little bit taller than the others, but we're talking inches, yeah? There's nothing in it. I'm going to change the model. I'm going to go back to the Dark Sushi mix and run it again. Starry AI has finished. This is the result. It's fantastic, yeah? That is a terrifyingly large man giving orders to a group of women. I don't see the thief looking on. Where am I? Let me change the pictures. Okay, this is the one that we're going with. That is a terrifyingly large man. He looks pretty stern. And we can see me in the top left corner looking on in disbelief as these women surround him, listening to his orders, which unfortunately were not for making robbery plans. They were something else. But I definitely did not want a picture of that. So back to the story. Let me add a little bit to this, then we'll validate it. I finished. Let's continue. So, we began the operation in great style, as we had both managed to escape a stinking hangover, despite drinking the bar dry last night and apparently nailing everyone in sight. Ripper, I began, until we have robbed the prince, we can take no more women and drink no more beer. We have to focus on the task at hand. You are 100% right, the hood, Ripper replied. Good, now you're in agreement. I think we should tail the prince on his next night trip to the city and see how the scene unfolds when he goes to Kebabalon for his combo kebab special. Ripper nodded his head in agreement. Ripper likes this and said, great plan, the hood. Thank the Lord for your supreme intelligence. Without you, we would be up Shit's Creek without a paddle. Validate, generate. We'll quickly go back to Desgo AI. This is the scene that Desgo created. I like this one a lot too. He's even more of a fucking Hulk in that picture than the other. That gives you a good idea of the size of the man. We're thinking fucking Juggernaut, yeah? That's the size of the guy. But with that cool skull face that the other AI gave him. Anyway, back to the story. But what of us? Who's saying this? Can you keep us out of any hot water? What if we don't get caught and then we are forced to live with ourselves knowing we were responsible for setting the entire thing in motion? I can live with that, man, yeah? I'm a fucking thief. I shrugged my shoulders. It could happen, but if it does, who cares? It's all done. We have fulfilled our mission, and now we can live here in peace. Also, I got quite the present for you, I said, pulling out my magic wand. Why have I got a magic wand? Fuck me, I didn't know I had a magic wand. This, along with a generous amount of gold, seemed to satisfy Ripper, and he began to make plans for a grand getaway in order to enjoy one last night out before returning home. Why is he always on about taking nights out? Ripper's a fucking machine, man. I then asked, just remember that once you get the Mask of Madness in your possession, we'll come looking for you. What's the Mask of Madness? I don't want that. So best make it look good, Ripper? I asked, taking a few steps towards the door as my buddy took another swig of whiskey. Fucking hell. Oh, what did I just say? No fucking beer. Oh, I said no beer. The prick, he's got me on a technicality. Started glugging whiskey. I heard the sound of a car engine. What? In the fucking fantasy world? I don't think so, son. Oh yeah, he was headed out. In a minute or so, I had the front door open and was heading into the house. A moment later, I heard Ripper's voice saying, "What are you doing? Don't run!" Oh my god, he's not getting more women, is he? I realised that I was standing right outside the bedroom window. What? And that Ripper was being held back by someone from inside the apartment. House, an apartment, the bedroom, I don't know what's going on. He was outside a second ago. They were trying hard not to look at each other, and their voices were slightly raised so as not to be overheard by anyone in the street. There was some argument going on between them, and finally, when they came face to face, they stopped arguing, but still kept their distance. Suddenly my eyes caught something on the floor of the hallway, just under where I had been standing. Something shiny red, shining in the light like the sun on a road. Very poetic. My heart leapt in my chest as I ran to the spot, but only to find that the object I had actually seen was a human eye. What? Why? At first, I wanted to scream out in astonishment, but when I looked closer, the eye was still staring at... Mate, we were supposed to be going to the fucking kebab house. What's happened? How have we got this waylaid? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get Story AI to start helping me with the story, yeah? So I've gone for a hooded masked thief looking at an eye on the floor, which is looking at something strange. Let's see if Story AI can come up with that something strange. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna take a piss. I'm back and Story AI is done. Here we've got a hooded and masked thief. I don't see an eye. Let Check the others. No eye. What's wrong with my fucking feet there? Am I part duck? There's no eye. There is no eye. It hasn't helped me at all, yeah? But obviously I'm having a diva day because I've gone through a bunch of different fucking masks. Fine, can Desgo help? It cannot help, although it has miraculously given me my magic wand that I didn't even know anything about. So I'm gonna have to fucking decide what it's looking at. We are ready. Okay. So at first I wanted to scream out in astonishment, but when I looked closer, the eye was still staring at a kettle. I kicked it very hard into the wall, at which point it burst and sprayed eye goo all over the person that Ripper was talking to, making them run away in tears. Now, it was just me and Ripper again, and we headed out to Kababylon so we could stake the place out, knowing that Prince Honeybun would have a craving for both lamb and chicken doner tonight. We took up a booth where we had eyes on the order station, patiently drinking a warm glass of milk each and picking at a large portion of French fries. After only 30 minutes of waiting, the prince entered. Validate. Generate. I do quickly want to see what the picture of me and Ripper eating French fries looks like. Desgo says it's this. I mean, I look like I'm eating lettuce. It's weird. And Picard has carried it on. So the prince entered with two friends dressed in black suits. The three men started ordering dishes with gusto, and their conversation soon turned to business. One of the three, wearing a white jacket that matched the others, I mean the others were wearing black suits, mate, asked the waiter, "Sir, did this man ever pay any attention to anything outside of himself?" Why involve the waiter in that kind of conversation, mate, yeah? There's no point. "Sir, I don't know where he got that suit from, but it is spotless," said the waiter, completely ignoring the question he had just been asked. "Good man, I want it cleaned for him right away. It's fucking spotless, mate," ordered the leader, and as he rose, he pointed, and I could see that he was pointing right at me. Fuck me, I've been spotted. I'm an expert, mate. He didn't have a gun or a knife with him, but was carrying his own pair of black gloves. Why is he wearing them? Why was he carrying his gloves? Obviously, he's just taken them off because his hands were sweaty and he needed to give gold coins to the waiter in the kebab house in the fantasy past setting that we're in. Now he was coming towards us. There was no way I was going to run. I knew I was being watched, but I figured if I gave myself away, then Honeybun would just send someone else to do his dirty work, and so I continued to watch him approach. When he got close, I could see he had a long scar running down his left cheek, which indicated that he had recently been through an ordeal. He started to speak and was speaking fast, so that I could not understand his words. But I had a pretty good idea of what he was saying. His mouth moved so fast that sometimes he forgot his next word. This guy's a fucking useless leader. Why have they sent him over? There's only one place where someone who's not from around here can go to find a normal life. He spoke quickly and loud. And that's America. What? I couldn't believe I was hearing this. The people in America were known for having great things happen to them because of their hard work and diligence. Maybe there's hope for me after all. Anyway, this guy seemed to have a lot of common sense, which made him even more interesting. Not wanting to miss any more words, I decided to ask what he meant about finding a normal life. Now the guy was speaking even faster, telling everyone around me that he was talking to me and telling me how to get a job and find yourself a wife. Shit, who is this guy? We're back off to Starry AI, and we've got a man in a black suit lecturing a hooded thief in a mask about America and getting a job. Generate. Shit, I've generated it twice. And I think that's my final fucking picture of the day as well. That's my 5. God damn it. While that's painting, I'll go back to the story and try and sort this shit out. I've continued the story. He was telling everyone around me that he was talking to me and telling me how to get a job and find a wife. I told him that I did not want a wife and asked him if he could sing to me the song Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. The man scoffed. Of course I fucking can. And proceeded to do so. My plan worked almost instantly. Because of the insane lyrics to the song, the man tied his tongue in knots, like actual knots. Because of the size of his knotted tongue, it clogged his throat, meaning that he couldn't breathe. He began to clutch at his throat, tears streaming down his face. Prince Honeybun looked on in horror and shouted, "Is there a doctor in the house?" The other man ripped open his shirt, as if he were exposing a superhero costume underneath. But, in reality, it was a scrawny body covered in mongoose fur and egg yolk. I recognised him as the guard from the bar the night before, and wondered if he had gotten his job back on some kind of technicality. "I am no doctor," the guard cried, "but I am trained in basic first aid, as everyone should be." And with that, he leapt to the choking man and started fingering his mouth, trying to pull the knotted tongue free. Prince Honeybun was on his knees beside them, crying like a baby. I nodded to Ripper, indicating that fate had been kind to us, and An unbelievable chance to steal the mask and sword was now before us. Because of the madness, we could steal them both and no one would be any the wiser. I don't know how Picard can fuck this up for me, but I think it's gonna have a go. Story AI got nowhere. It's still painting those pictures despite how long it's taken me to fucking do all this. So we're going back to Desgo. Desgo never lets us down. So first we've got a man in a black suit lecturing a hooded thief in a mask about America and getting a job, which is this. So that's the guy. It doesn't really show me, but never mind. So in Desgo, we're going for a prince crying on the floor of a kebab house while a palace guard saves a man in a black suit from choking on his own tongue. Let's see what it comes up with for that. That is weird, yeah? What the fuck am I looking at? Right, so the prince, I can see the prince. The prince is wearing red. He appears to have two heads, both looking at each other. The guy in the suit on the floor, I think, is the guy choking, but he's holding someone else's hand in his hand. It's a weird scene I don't understand. So we're going to validate this, generate the next part of the story. Hopefully Picard doesn't really fuck me over and make me continue for very much longer, yeah? I think I've got us at the conclusion of this story. Picard does not want to throw this opportunity away, has he? We could take the swords home with us, there's only one, mate, and maybe use them to make our lives better. That's what the mask is for. Then my heart sank. Picard fucked me. Because I could not think of anywhere I wanted to go. Oh, right, okay, fair enough. What about America? Surely none of these places would offer me peace and happiness. Looking into those people's eyes, I knew that none of them were going to be happy ever again. I could feel the anger rising inside of me. That's when it hit me. They were angry at themselves for allowing such a thing to happen. This wasn't the first time they'd done something stupid. It might even be the 10th. As many as 10. So my eyes narrowed and I spoke to Ripper. Let's kill them. Let's take the masks and swords and get out of here. Right, killing them is not what I wanted to do, yeah? If you kill a fucking prince in a kebab shop, the law is going to come after you. I mean, if you kill a prince anyway, you're pretty much fucked, yeah? But in a kebab shop, that's just asking for trouble. We all looked up and saw that the trio was leaving, each of them with a different type of weapon. Everyone had weapons, although I saw several knives, a pistol or two, a crossbow, a few more guns, a club, and a hammer. All the people had their weapons with them, ready for whatever was about to happen. But nothing happened. In fact, nothing had happened yet. It was quiet for a while, except for the sounds of breathing. As the silence stretched into eternity, many thoughts went through our heads. What do you do now? Where do you go? How do you live? And most importantly, who are you going to fight? Of course, that's the most important one. Hang on, that wasn't the end of the question. And most importantly, who are you going to fight if anyone does? What will your fighting style be? These were questions I needed answering. After a moment of thought, I realised I'd better put my mind to the task ahead of me. If I was going to leave everything behind for something new, then I might as well start with people I could actually hurt. I picked up a silver blade and held it in front of me. Holding onto it tight, I shouted, "My name is Sashihara Ryuichi." I've given a false name, yeah? So they don't know who I actually am. It's quite creative in the spur of the moment, I think. The crowd around me roared with laughter. Why? For the first time since we walked through the door, someone laughed, and he was a very tall, handsome young man wearing a dark blue uniform with no. What the fucking hell have you done, Picard? You've given me a really simple, thieving opportunity and turned it into a fucking nightmare. We were gonna go in stealth, we've now got to go in guns blazing. And apparently actual guns, because there are fucking loads of them appeared in this story. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of the story. It's gonna finish with whatever Picard creates next, but I have continued it with. For the first time we walked through the door, someone laughed. He was a very tall, handsome young man wearing a dark blue uniform with no. Yeah, that's how it finished. With knobbly knees that I could see visibly in his trousers. I snapped my head. Whoa! I said out loud. What a crazy, random, fucked up vision. That's right, I've taken the easy way out and pretended it was a dream. It was the only other way I could fucking sort that out. Thanks, Picard. It was then that I realised that the owner of Kebabylon had cast a spell of confusing bullshit at me, which was something he did at random to customers just for the fuck of it. He laughed and then went into the kitchen. The scene was as it was before. Ripper and I in the booth, Prince Honeybun crying and pissing his pants on the floor, the guard fingering Suitman's mouth. It was perfect. I gave Ripper the nod, and he accidentally on purpose spilt his milk on the prince, causing panic in the prince as it hit him in the groin area, fearing that people would think he had cum in his pants. Ripper stood there, a hulking monstrosity of a man, profusely apologising, but in a very intimidating manner. The guard was now trying to do two things at once, finger Suitman's tongue to freedom and pat Prince Honeybun around his cock, trying to clean up the mess. It was chaos. This was my chance. I did that cool pickpocket thing that you see in movies, where someone just bumps into someone and then you see that they managed to steal everything of value from them in the very next scene. That was actually my signature move. That is based on me. With a grin on my face, which you couldn't see because I was wearing a mask, I strolled out the door with the hood of many faces stuffed into my boxers and inserted the sword into a giant poster tube that I brought with me but forgot to mention until this point. I stopped at the door, turned and said, "Ripper, shall we?" We escaped back home. This was the end of the story. Our plan had been a massive success. "What shall we do now, dear friend?" I asked Ripper, immediately regretting the question, knowing what an absolute fucking degenerate he is. This is where Picard is going to pick it up and finish the story once and for all. But let's first have a picture. And here we go, the final one, except there's going to be another one, so it's the second to final one, the penultimate one. A hooded thief with a mask protruding from his boxer shorts, hiding a short sword in a poster tube while there is a first aid emergency happening behind him. It's not what I asked for. Carry on. Validate. Generate. Picard, it's over to you. Here we go. Strap in. Are you ready? We live in different worlds where Ripper has a life where his family is rich. My world was filled with gangsters and drugs and a constant threat of death from my enemies. Why was my world like that? Ripper's world was filled with money and sex and women he can't get enough of. He would probably kill me as soon as look at me because he thinks I should have been more like him. I should have been, for fuck's sake. I have nothing to offer him in terms of friendship. I am going to forget about Ripper now. This is a sad end. I don't want to forget about Ripper. He was my best friend that I took the piss out of. We headed off towards downtown Tokyo again. Why are we in Tokyo? Looking for the one place that I wanted to visit. I was ready to be done with humanity and its petty issues. Maybe someday, when I am old, I will visit Japan one last time before dying. Maybe there is still hope left in me. I had an hour before the meeting of the three people in the Bark of Babylon. I thought maybe we could find some place to rest before heading off to wherever it was we were supposed to meet. I've returned to the scene of the crime. Am I a fucking idiot? No. I've got the hood of many faces on, yeah? No one's going to recognise me. I can do what I fucking want these days. I took a quick walk to my hotel to grab a drink, but noticed someone standing outside my building with my phone in hand. Why have they got my phone? Why is there a phone? It's the fucking Fantasylands, man. I couldn't help but laugh at the sight. Then, looking down, I realised that there was someone's dick hanging out of a condom. What? Just a severed penis on the floor? Why? I felt sick to my stomach. Yeah, no shit. Chapter 41. Lester the Conman. What? I don't know. Picard. Why? What are you doing? I was the only person who spoke English at first, so I figured I'd be able to get by and survive with the help of other languages. Some friends told me how easy it is to learn foreign languages, and eventually I was able to converse in 4, 5, 6 languages simultaneously. Fucking hell, what a talent. Not only can I look like anyone, I can also talk like anyone and in any language, yeah? I'm a fucking genius. Eventually, I picked it up and started enjoying myself. However, this didn't happen overnight, yeah? There's always a long process of learning languages. The hardest lesson I learned was the concept of grammar and usage. You cannot use words for the sake of using them because you'll get into semantic loops. So, you must learn how to form sentences correctly to avoid confusion. There are a lot of grammar books. I don't know. And for the final picture, I know you've all been wondering, what the fucking hell does Kababelon look like? Well, according to Desgo AI, it's this. They spelt it wrong, mate. That's the Bibaroo. And it doesn't look like it sells kebabs. It looks like a bakery. Maybe Kababelon's next door and... fuck, I don't know. That's right, I don't know, yeah? I'm sick of trying to cover for the AI. I do it as many favours as I can, giving it all of the fucking prompts it needs to create spectacular visions that I've got inside my head. Clearly, AI has got a way to catch up before it's on par with my genius. So that's it. The Hood and Ripper had a successful adventure together. We saw what we needed to, we got away scot-free. And even though that ending says that we were no longer friends, I've got a feeling that if we come back to AIdventure, we're going to hear more stories about their crazy antics together. But all that's left to say today is, thank you for watching the video, I hope that you enjoyed it. Please take care of yourselves out there, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.